Hey folks, Cesar Perez here with Afford My Health Plan. As you can see, I'm coming to you from my office today, and today I'm going to talk about should I take the marketplace coverage or should I go for employer plan. Marketplace coverage is from your state's marketplace. For example, here in California, we got what we call Covered California. That's the marketplace in our state. And employer plan or employer coverage is if you have an offer of coverage from your employer. Now, one of the things that people do not realize is that the reason I'm talking to you about this today is because when you get an offer of coverage from an employer, then you're no longer eligible for a subsidy. So, no subsidy. And so, what happens if you end up taking the subsidy and saying no to your employer plan? Well, if you end up taking the subsidy, and it's kind of hard to decipher because when you go into the system and start applying or whether somebody helps you, sometimes in the question is not very clear. It does ask you if your employer offers you coverage, but sometimes people will check the no box on there because for whatever reason, they might do it. They end up getting the marketplace plan with a subsidy. Now, if you end up getting a subsidy, what's going to happen is at the end of the year, you get a 1095-A from the marketplace. So that 1095-A form, you got to take that to your tax preparer. And so the tax preparer is going to get this form. They're also going to get your W-2 from your employer, and sometimes the employer will also send a 1095-C form, and so they're going to cross-reference that with your form, and so the IRS is going to get both the 1095-A and 1095-C from the employer, so that's how they know that you have been offered coverage by your employer. Now, when that happens, then that definitely raises a red flag with the IRS, and they say, well, you were offered coverage. Why did you take this the subsidy? You were not supposed to. And so they come back around and they go ahead and charge everything that they gave you as a subsidy. They say, well, in this case, you got to pay back everything that you got. So unfortunately, there's people after a year or two when they get audited, or if the IRS notices there's a red flag or an offer of coverage, then they come down on the person and they go ahead and they charge him the subsidy back. And so that's not a very good place to be in. So I wanted to take a few minutes and just go over this with you to make sure that you are not in that situation. Since we are still able to get a subsidy, we are now in 2019 and the subsidy has not gone away. However, the rule still states that if you are being offered employer coverage, you should not take the subsidy. Also, the employer plan that you're being offered, the employer pays a portion of it. They must at least pay 50%. Or in order for you not to be eligible for a subsidy, they have to, what you pay, your share has to be 9.5% of your gross income or less. And so that's the rule. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you're on the green if you are going to take a subsidy. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching.